thank you very much for coming in their place.
I will do.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for your hearing.
Thank you. Now we have the Travis Wetland Trust, Denise Ford. Oh, that doesn't look like Denise Ford at all.
No, it's not. Sorry, I've not just put on weight, I've changed sex as well. No, Denise can't come today, so I'm Charlie Catt. And first of all, thank you for giving me 10 minutes in the sun, although I should have 40 minutes, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, am I supposed to stand back as the patron of the Travis Wetland Trust?
I wasn't going to say the amount we pay you to be our patron, but
Seriously, am I supposed to?
Well, David and I haven't stood back over our links, so...
No, just checking. Okay. I'll just give you an extra 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
I need 40, and I'll tell you why. I've got a slight identity crisis because I'm representing Travis Wetland Trust. Colin Merck is our president. He's in Auckland at the moment, and he's done another submission, which he's asked me to refer to. He's also done one with Ken Strongman, ex-Canterbury University, and I don't know whether Ken's doing anything, but Colin asked me to mention that. And I was also asked to do my own one, so I'm trying to get 4 of these into 10, what's probably now 9 minutes. So, a bit of a rush. But first of all, I'd like to thank the council very much for the support that Travis Wetland has had over, I think, probably the last 17, 18 years when the land was secured, and a lot of ongoing support. And I think, sorry, whenever I say I mean Travis Wetland Trust, I think we have a very good relationship, and we couldn't have done what we have done without the council's support. And like when you mark students' essays, but I've sort of split the rest of this into 2 areas, one sort of issues and the other recommendations, but they do fuse a little bit. And one point, we hope the long-term plan, the council will at least discuss with us if there's any sort of urban encroachment on Travis Wetland. Now, I'm not talking about sort of floating subdivisions or motorways flying over the top, but we had a biofilter stuck in, for example, in Mairohaua Road, which I haven't seen yet, and we did send a number of emails to the council about could we discuss this, and we didn't get any replies. So we're a bit worried that this is like the thin end of the wedge, but apart from that, as far as I know, there have been no issues with Travis Wetland being chipped away at or anything like that. We hope the plan will continue to support us in pest management, both plants and animals. One aspect we've been discussing is educating particularly the people in the area. And although we thought, like in Nelson Lakes, the locals sort of do a bit of trapping of rats and stuff, I'm not sure about trapping local cats, which is a big problem. There's going to be a big, great success, although Gareth Morgan might throw a few bob our way. But we do want to get the local community a bit more involved in awareness of dogs and stuff. You know, they take them for walks, and dogs should be on leads or shouldn't be there at all. A very general one about restoring the water quality of Otakaro and Apawaho rivers. That's a little bit peripheral to Travis Wetland. And probably the biggest thing, obviously, is continuing to support us in restoring and maintaining the biodiversity of Travis Wetland. I think in the 20 years I've been involved, there have been huge changes there by a fairly small number of people, but it's amazing what you can do if you sort of keep at it. And I should say we do get quite a bit of help from, obviously, the council, I already mentioned, but Trees for Canterbury, DOC, Trust, they all chip in. We have open days like tomorrow, a big work day, Forest and Bird as well. And the last sort of issue, which I'm not very up to speed with, is been referred to already today about tidal barriers, etc. Now, I don't know a lot about it, but I think our position at the moment is, you know, can there be some discussion on that, because there is a fear that in an ecologically fragile area, it may upset things, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to answer any questions on that because I don't know much about it. Going on to recommendations, I think something also alluded to the submission before last. Obviously the physical and human landscape over on the east side of the city has changed immeasurably since the earthquakes, and there are a lot of initiatives, initiatives sprouting up all over the place. I mean, there's us, There's Mahinga Kai Exemplar, which some of us were at Anzac Day Monday. Waitakere Eco Sanctuary, the Greening the Red Zone, Colin Burke's 360-degree trail, all sort of interconnect there. And I think Travis Wetland Trust thinks that there needs to be some dialogue, particularly with the council, about how all these different bodies are all doing things. And Colin Burke's suggestion is that maybe 2 meetings a year, get interested people together, at least to see what they all want to do and make it slightly less fragmented, because already we don't quite know how we're dealing with. We've had a few, the Waitakere, I don't know, it's Waitakere or Waitakere Eco Sanctuary. We've had discussions with them and Mahinga Kai people, but we don't quite know how separate or combined we're all going to be. Ken Strongman's submission was a little bit about the Christchurch Creative Network, because there are a couple of sort of setups already in existence, and I don't know a lot about the Christchurch Creative Network. And Colin also mentioned the Christchurch Biodiversity Partnership, which has been going for 5 years, and those are 2, whatever you're going to call them, organisations that are already set up to sort of start discussing these things. So they would be, maybe an area to start with. And the other two points, really sort of fairly obvious ones, that all the people working in these areas have a lot of expertise and experience, and I think save a lot of money. I think if Colin Merck was paid $1 an hour for the amount of free time that he's given to the city, he'd probably be a millionaire by now. But using the resources we've got, there's a lot of human resources out there with people, not just with experience and expertise, but a lot of enthusiasm. And we have lots of volunteers. And my job is mostly sort of sticking plants in the ground. I do let all the brain work. Colin and people can sort that out. But again, it's free. And if you go to sort of triple bottom line stuff, the amount of voluntary work that's done by these organisations must save the council a fair bit, but I know you pour money into it as well. And I think Mahinga Kai Exemplar is a good example of sort of social and cultural aspects being done. I presume it's Ngāi Tahu who's sort of behind that one. Economic side of it saves a bit of money. I mean, last Monday, Anzac Day, the Mondayised day, I think 500 trees were planted. I'm not sure who else would have done it, but I did talk to Doc and the rangers about who's going to maintain it, and they weren't sure about that. And I think the environmental and ecological aspects of it, particularly, I was gobsmacked at just the desolation out there of just no houses. Well, in a few years, those trees will be up, and it make it look a lot better, and it's restoring Christchurch to or a bit of it to what it once was. And that's it. Thank you very much for listening.
Well, thank you.
I'll endeavour to answer any questions. I'm sort of third on the list.
I've got a really easy question for you to start with, because I love Travis Wetlands, and Bexley Wetlands was where I used to live, around that area. So I used to always go around them, but now I'm closer to Travis, and so I go around there, and it's a wonderful environment just to, on some of these gorgeous autumn days that we've been having, it's just fantastic to go around it. But you can still see that there's a lot of damage. So I guess, how long do you think it's going to be before we start to really see the old Travis back the way that it was?
Well, it depends how far you mean the way it was. I just interviewed somebody the other day who, in the 40s and 50s, and of course it was all a farm.
Oh, no, I mean cows. The way it was before the earthquakes. We're getting there.
I really don't know. I mean, we chip away at it very, very slowly, planting trees, and then they take ages to do anything. I just don't know how long that's going to take.
Because I think that there would be a lot of interest in kind of ramping that up, because and there's huge amount of voluntary effort goes into the plantings, but there is nothing more satisfying than spending time planting and then going back a couple of years later and knowing that you contributed. Raph?
Yeah, hi,
I mean,
thanks
we've
for
got
that.
can I just say, we've got one issue, actually financially it's quite a big one, but part of the walkway is now submerged because of the earthquake. And, you know, the cost per metre of a walkway that's got piles going down into a wetland are horrendous. And apart from putting a sign up saying, bring your gummies with you, we don't really know what to do because we just have not got the money to deal with it. And so that kind of thing is going to take some time. It's a fairly
Well, there's a lot of companies making a lot of money out of Christchurch at the moment, so maybe we should have a chat to one of them.
Yeah, well, come up with any ideas, let us know.
Raf, sorry.
Very quickly, you mentioned the pest-free areas. I mean, is it too early to actually approach someone like Gareth and say, would you be interested in being part of the pilot
I only
scheme?
thought of that yesterday when I was preparing this. At our next meeting next Tuesday, I might suggest that. We are trying to get the local people do use it. There's a walkway, a perimeter walkway, and you know, on Saturdays when we go and do our planting, is
Sorry,
running.
Phil, I'll let you ask a question since I...
Thank you. One of the things you've really alluded to, and it's come through in a number of the submissions around environmental issues, is in fact how in fact perhaps the different groups who are doing terrific work in different parts of the city, how we might all benefit if they're joined up better. And I guess I've always assumed that he can have charge of these water issues, and like there's the zone committees which have been referred to. But I'm just wondering, would it be helpful if the groups, the Travis, your Travis group and the other groups perhaps were able to meet with, you know, our council advisors and maybe some from a city perspective, as well as when you have
yeah, well, that was one of my suggestions. You know, it's got quite fragmented, and you know, we have been in discussion with some of them, and we just don't know quite where to go next. You know, are we doing their work? Are they helping us?
Thank you. We can ask for that.
I think that's a very good idea.
I think there's some overarching sort of body needs to get a grip of it. Oh, sorry, Travis Wetland Trust things, not me.
Yeah, I think Eastern Vision was, you know, the attempt to do that. So, but anyway, and they are having a meeting here next Monday, so it might be worthwhile raising with them. But look, thank you very much, and thank you for presenting on our behalf.
Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.